We are non-stop, never stop here on Sportswire Radio because we have another full week ahead of shows, and that's going to continue to do here with a company that we have done a lot with, as I just mentioned, called Non-Stop Action Wrestling. They have one of their biggest shows yet called All Hallows Eve, and we've got our guest here literally before the eve of just maybe the biggest night of his career. You know him from the society where he already holds one half of those tag team championships. They call him the upgrade for a reason because what he's done over the past year, the heights that not only is he's taken his career to, but all of the society very well could come to fruition for his This Is Your Life moment and becoming a double champion, winning his first singles title for that Northern Division title against Supersonic Sammy Blue. He's going to talk about that, plus who knows what else. He needs no further introduction, but because he's not been on Sportswire Radio in quite a while, and it's really his request as to why we're here tonight, because he had posted on Facebook his memory last month about the first time that he's coming on here, and he also recently celebrated a birthday. We're going to give him that introduction that everybody else always gets. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show from one half of the non-stop, never stop action wrestling tag team champions from the society. They call him the upgrade. Callam Majeiskter. The champ is here. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'll tell you something. I'll never ever get bored of hearing my own name. I'll tell you that.
Well, I've always been saying to everybody, just about for the past 5 years now, they may not listen to every single Sports Wire show every second of it, but those intros, people will always remember. But obviously, champ, it is an honor to have you literally the eve before All Hallows Eve, as this could be a This Is Your Life moment here for you and your career, as you have a chance to win your first singles championship in a match that, if you really think about nonstop action wrestling and British wrestling, I would say over the past year, this is very well a dream match as you get a chance to square off for that Northern Division Championship against Supersonic Sammy Blue. So for those that are listening and watching on Sports Wire Radio, the upgrade, Callam Majeiskter, set the tables for us. And what can we expect this weekend at All Hallows Eve?
Well, I want to start off by saying that, Sammy, I saw your words, I saw your little video, and Sammy wanted to talk about being real and how he's got where he is because he's been himself. But me and you both know that is a lie because I know that that's not how you are outside of the ring. I mean, when we first met, I was depressed, beaten, miserable, and you did not give a damn. Not once when you portray this loving and caring persona, not once did you actually come up to me and ask me if I was okay. I'll tell you who did do that. Lawman Kyle Kennedy. After he beat the crap out of me and Reese Lightning, he still came up to me and asked me what was going on. And that's why I'm part of society and not the super best buds who aren't even together anymore in NSAW.
So are you saying then that what we've seen from Sammy Blue over the past just about
I'm saying is a fake. I'm saying is a fake. That's what I'm saying.
Is this then more than just a championship? It's personal now?
Well, I think it was personal from the fact that he's already faced, Remus and Kyle Kennedy. He already faced the both of them, and yeah, he's beaten them. Good for him. I don't care because, again, I love them both, even though there's been some differences. I, in the nicest way possible, I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm more skilled and more experienced. I've done wrestling longer than Sammy Blue's been able to walk.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So Sammy thinks he's going to be able to beat me. He thinks he's going to be able to out wrestle me. Maybe you can. But one thing you will never be able to do is beat me in the mental games. I am the king of the mind games when it comes to professional wrestling. Ask Conor Cage what happens with mind games.
You know, you said something interesting, and I want to go back to it because you talked about the experience factor in that you have been in this business for over a decade. Supersonic Sammy Blue is just getting started. So, for
Mm-hmm.
your vantage point, talk about the experience factor and how that's going to propel you to victory Saturday night.
Well, let's start off with the fact that, okay, yeah, Sammy's starting to get some bookings now, but like you say, Sammy's only done this, what, a couple of years?
2 years, just about 2 years.
And I've come All Hallows Eve, I'll be celebrating my 11th year in wrestling. I'll also be celebrating my 1 year in NSAW, which we will always celebrate a 1 year anniversary than to win a championship. And again, what Sammy doesn't realize is, again, as I said, Remus Kane was, the brains behind the society.
Yep.
Lawman Kyle Kennedy, he was the powerhouse. I think Sammy just expects me to be like this one particular style. Sammy thinks I'm just going to do the same thing over and over again, and he thinks that that's going to help him. But if you watch back my matches, you see that I have done different things, whether it be in tag matches, singles, triple threats, fatal four-ways. I've done it all. And I've done it differently. Because the last thing I would ever want is for you to know what I'm going to do.
Well, that's a good point because what do I always tell wrestlers over the years on Sportswire? I'm like, before a championship match, whatever you do, don't tell me how you're going to win the match because everybody and their mother is going to go and watch the show and say, hey, that's how so-and-so said. In your case, Callam Majeiskter, the upgrade, is how he's going to go out and beat Supersonic Sammy Blue. Just go out there and do it. But, you talked about, again, a number of different things that I find interesting in that fact that your 11th year in this business is coming up this week. I remember having you on last year, and again, we had the recent anniversary of the first time you came on, and you were getting ready to celebrate 10 years in this game. So is it extra meaningful for you that your 11th year in this business is this weekend at All Hallows Eve, and this is where you could claim your first singles title?
I mean, it definitely has some meaning. I think it has more meaning to me the fact that it's 1 year in NSAW. I will give NSAW the credit where credit is due. However, you know what? I will give Sammy his due because now I feel like I have some better competition. So again, let's look at how my career's gone in NSAW first. So far.
Sure.
So starting off, we had Billy O'Keefe and Sean Only.
Yep.
And fair enough, that didn't go in my favour. It's what happens when you get knocked out.
Hey, it's Sean Only. I mean, Sean Only is a legend. He's the head trainer in GTM, so I don't blame you on that. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then we have Pride, that was like a 5-minute job. That was easy.
I remember Pride and you going back and forth here. Yep, correct.
Yeah, then he gave it all a lip and then he couldn't back it up. I know. I'm just that good. And then who have we had? Let's see. We've had Conor Cage, who can't control his own mind because he gets distracted so easily. We had Matt Royale and the Yorkshireman. Big egos there. Then Matt Royale again. Yorkshireman. No, not Yorkshireman, sorry. Tommy Dillon, Grayson Riley. Massive egos who just can't get along. Phantom of the Outlaw. Amateurs. First ever match. Granted, they got our respect, but they weren't good enough
We
to
spoke
challenge
quite about that
the
here on
East out.
Sportswire, quite a bit about that over the summer. Yep,
Who else?
definitely. Yep, sure.
Hmm. Trying to think who else. Oh, and then there was the Four Corners tag team match where again we won because we're smart and we know how to do things. Oh, and then of course winning these championships.
As
And
pretty of
again,
a belt you can
Sammy Blue saying that I've cheated my way into winning these. There's no rules in a battle royal. The only rule is if you're thrown over the top rope and both feet hit the floor, you're out. Yes, I got eliminated on purpose because the last thing people were expecting was for Remus to come out from under the ring and get the win for us. Everyone expected I was just going to be thrown out because I was against the Yorkshireman and that was going to be it. But no, because again, I have been in this business too long. I know what I am doing and I have plans that I'm obviously not going to tell anyone else.
Well, you're certainly not going to tell them here on Sportswire because I basically
God,
laid
no.
out why you shouldn't. I will get back to the momentum that you have shortly, but I want to say a little to our friend Michael Knowles, who's here. And you and Michael have gone back and forth for a long time. 5-minute job because you cheated with a chair. All you do is cheat. But I will say this, not to take sides, but at the end of the day, you won your match. Right? At the end of the day, in the record books, they don't say whether it's wins or a loss with an asterisk. Now, obviously, that's for a different time and a different discussion, but you've got momentum here coming into this match because you won a 4-way match to get this title shot that you're getting at All Hallows Eve. So let's talk about that with the momentum that you
I'm
have going into it.
I'm gonna say this right now. Me and Pride, it happened before the bell rang. It was not officiated. Therefore, it is not breaking the rules. It is not officially cheating. Okay. The Battle Royal already explained that. The fatal four-way. There's no rules in a fatal four-way. Before contact match, that was a WQ match, so no cheating there. Connor Cage, well, he just gets distracted easily, so that's not my fault. So again, no cheating. It's almost as if, again, Michael, I know what the hell I'm talking about. I know what the hell I'm doing. You are just some smarmy little mark who sits in the crowd. Sorry, am I not allowed to use the word mark? You're a mark.
No, you can say that on Sportswire. No, you
you know,
can say that
yeah,
word. It's not, you're not using profanity, so you're absolutely.
You're a mark. You're a mark who thinks he knows what he's talking about. Until you step into that ring and you understand what we as wrestlers go through, you will just be words.
Well, that's certainly some strong and maybe even valid points because what do I know? I don't have the experience that Callam Majeiskter has. And Michael continues to go back and forth with you. He says still cheated. If you're so good like you say you are, go out with the society and then prove you can beat Sammy one-on-one. But, I mean, I think the society's going through a different phase anyway, so...
So, again, you're all right saying that, but you clearly missed the fatal four-way where, again, walked out to face. Yeah, walked out to face Matt Royale, Tommy Dillon, Grayson Riley. No society. I was the only member of the society on that card.
By the way, I would point out that you defeated 2 former world champions. Tommy Dillon was the NSO champion for months. Grayson Riley was the champion in CCW for months. So, I mean, that's an impressive win. And Matt Royale is obviously no chop liver either. And he won the Battle Royal at the main event of Wrestling Appreciation Society's first ever show. So, clearly, that gives you a lot of momentum.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? And,
I would think so.
And again, I'd like to point out, I was the only member of the society at 0 Day. And as far as I'm aware, there's no members of the society at All Hallows Eve besides myself. So maybe I do walk out about the society. Maybe I do just go out on my own. Or if they do come out of me, I can happily tell them not to get involved. But again, you think you're a big brave boy because you said some scary words. Oh, go out without society. Sit down, shut your mouth, and enjoy the show, you mark.
And we're looking forward, by the way, to Nonstop Action Wrestling's All Hallows Eve. And we've got some links and information where you can support our friends at Nonstop Action Wrestling. You can check them out on Instagram at NSAW Wrestling UK, Twitter, NSAW Res underscore YouTube. YouTube Nonstop Action Wrestling with a minus sign before Stop Action Wrestling 7944, and Facebook Nonstop Action Wrestling. So one more time, Instagram NSAW Wrestling UK, Twitter NSAW Res underscore UK, YouTube Non with a minus sign Stop Action Wrestling 7944, and Facebook Nonstop Action Wrestling. You can also follow the upgrade Callam Majeiskter on Instagram, Callam underscore Majeiskter. Make sure you follow him. And I want to say hello to somebody who also has something to say. Daniel Banner from GT Ministries training there says the society have become a dominant force like the Judgment Day. Do you think the society will expand other companies? Well, technically, you guys actually, I'll answer this for you. I'll answer this because you guys have appeared in several companies already. You guys have expanded. You guys have been in WAS. You guys have been in Blackheart. You guys have been in Firestar. You guys in the past have been in CCW. You guys have been in GT Ministry. So, yeah, pretty much you guys have been in several companies I just listed. Did I miss anyone?
You haven't, but what makes me laugh is we have gone from one end of the spectrum to the other. We've gone from one of the biggest marks to someone who can't even pay attention. Oh, will the society branch out to other promotions as if we haven't been running all of Yorkshire? As if we haven't been running the UK.
Point, and this is why I think the match
has a lot New British Promotions and Old School Wrestling. There too, you forgot.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm glad that's why I wanted to ask for clarification. But, I think one of the things, and it's why it's important I wanted to have you on, and obviously to promote the card, promote the show. We'll have an announcement actually from somebody that you might know of in a little while. But since you've joined the society, you have been almost like the stir that straws the drink. You have been the ingredient that has put the society in those different promotions. You think about some of the other members or someone else that was in the group before you, and to what you've done since you've joined this group almost a year ago. I mean, you could arguably make the case that you have been really the MVP of this group, and you have been the guy that has helped propel the society to keep those tag titles for all those months, but also have you guys in all these different places where people talk about Remus, they talk about you, they talk about Jenny, and that's why you guys have been so dominant.
Well, I don't like to brag, but even though he probably has left the society and has left NSAW, he's still my friend, and you did forget the lawman Kyle Kennedy.
I know. It's a touchy situation there. I certainly know it's a really touchy situation.
I couldn't care less if it's a touchy subject or not. Remus and Lawman, if they've got issues, they can deal with it. So,
but certainly the point was that you really have been the guy that helped the group go and reach levels that, I think objectively speaking, I don't think the group would have reached really if you didn't join and become a member. I think that's really the nip of the conversation.
Well, all I'm going to say is just, it's been a year since I joined the society. Just wait to see what the next year brings. That's all I will say, because we've got many, many big plans coming up.
I'll tell you what, we're going to be watching them here on Sportswire Radio, and I think that those year plans are going to kick off this coming weekend at Nonstop Action Wrestling's All Hallows Eve. You can check it out on all the Nonstop Action Wrestling social media pages for more information. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, and I will have an announcement in a little while, again, related to Nonstop Action Wrestling and more coverage. But, you won your first title in January to become a tag team champion. Now, this coming weekend, you have an opportunity to win your first singles title. I
Hmm.
mean, so what would it mean to you then to be a double champion? You think about in this sport, right? Very few wrestlers can say on behalf of one company. Sure, right now there's wrestlers that hold titles in multiple promotions. Sure, there have been people in NSAW that have held titles in different companies. Disciple, for example, was the world champion in GTM. He was the world champion here in NSAW. So we've
Mm.
seen that. But for you, on your behalf, in your career, what would it mean to you from a guy that was 10 years in this sport before finally winning his first title to now having the opportunity to be a double champion this weekend? What does that mean to you?
Well, the thing is, it's not just being a double champion, but it's being NSAW's first ever double champion. I know you've said there are wrestlers that have won championships in other promotions. You have Disciple, who had the world class and the GTM belts,
Yep.
but they're two different promotions.
Sure.
No one in the history of NSAW so far has held two championships of the same promotion. So, again, it's making some pretty good history there. And, well, I mean, everyone knows the story. You're a kid, you want to win a championship, you want to be a champion. And that's essentially it. It's achieving a childhood dream. And it's a shame, to be honest. It's a shame because it's not the way I'd have ever dreamed of winning the championship. Because, well, obviously, being a kid, I dreamed of winning the belt by the books. Now I'm done. I can't be bothered. You
Yeah,
think I
but you
can? You
tried
think I
that
want to
route
wait?
in your career. Yeah, but you know what though? You tried that route in your career. And it
Hmm.
obviously was what it was. But again, in the record books. Now, again, I'm not saying
Yeah.
for or against. The record books doesn't say, hey, you did it the wrong way. You won these championships, and if you win this
No.
Saturday, being a double champion, it doesn't matter how you accomplish it. You're a double champion, and very few people in this sport in one company can say, hey, I'm a double champion. Very few people can say that.
No, that's great. But if I don't follow the rules, I then have people like Michael, whatever his surname is,
He's
Jackass.
got more comments. Yeah, Michael Knowles.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course he has. Of course he has. And I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait to see what else you have to say, Michael,
Well, I'll
because
pull it up
oh
for
my
you if
God,
you'd
you are
like.
boring.
I'll pull it up. Believe me, if I was at All Hallows, which I won't be, but if I was, I could knock you out fair. But somehow you find a way to cheat, as that's all the society does, and that's just legitimately proven. That's a strong word. Now,
Oh,
I don't know Michael well. I mean, I know Michael obviously, and I appreciate he's tuned in. But to want to punch you out, I mean, did you do
no.
something to Michael in the past? Is there something that I'm missing?
I must have done. I have no idea. But that's adorable. It really is. That's that's almost like KSI winning a fight against Tommy Fury. Wait, that didn't happen.
No.
Oh, just like how you knocking me out, it would never happen. Because you're a scared little boy. You're a keyboard warrior. Again, I actually get in the ring. I actually fight. You just sit in the crowd and give it all the lip. So that's adorable. It's cute. I'm bored of you now. Bye bye.
All right, let me pull up a comment that you might appreciate, and that is from the rock idol of the UK, Jenny Hayes. Jenny wants to say a line that my uncle used to always tell me when I was growing up that it's a dog eat dog world. Callam is
Hmm.
a champ. The haters wouldn't even know the touch of a title. What do you
Exactly.
think?
Hmm.
All right,
Can't help but agree.
I think Jenny obviously knows a thing or two about these things. We wish Jenny well. Obviously, Jenny is getting ready for another phase. And I want to say hello to also the lawman Kyle Kennedy, who I know I owe an appearance on Sportswire still, and I apologize for the inconvenience, and we will certainly make up for that later in the year. Unfortunately, I've been sick for the past 3 weeks.
Oh
I
dear.
think I'm almost better, but it's been 3 weeks. I'm on a virus, so I appreciate that he's tuned in. He wants your hat. I think it is a good hat. I agree with him on that. Also, the difference is KSI is a cocky SOB. The difference with me is I'll actually do it. Now, I don't know what
Hmm.
Michael looks like in real life, So I
You know
hope.
what? Actually, neither do I.
Oh, you don't know
this
him?
is the,
Haven't you
this
seen
is
him
the
before?
embarrassing bit. I don't even know what you look like.
Well, he's got a photo
Oh
here.
my
It
god!
looks like he's holding something. I don't know necessarily. I mean, I
He's
don't have.
too much. He's too much of a blur. Just
I don't
like
know.
how
I'm
when
just
he's in the
curious.
crowd, he's
Have
a
you
blur.
seen? So you've never met Michael then?
Not that I recall. Or if I have, it's because I couldn't be bothered to say hi.
Okay, well, obviously you're the one holding gold here, so I'll certainly leave that aside, and we'll certainly leave Michael aside for a second here. But certainly coming into the card in itself, All Hallows Eve, biggest match of your career. I'm curious again. Don't tell me how you're going to win this match, but this is probably the biggest week of your career. So, are you, in terms of your preparation, are you preparing any differently than you would for any prior matches in your career?
You know, usually I'd be training on my strength because obviously quite often I've wrestled guys who are bigger than me or guys who are of a similar size to me. With Sammy, he works very differently. Sammy, you know what? I'll give Sammy his credit, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I would compare Sammy Blue to Kazuchika Okada.
I know him very well.
When you face him, once you get past a certain time limit, there is no beating him. Once you get past that time limit, you are out of breath. I mean, what was it? Chris Murphy, the Irish guy. I
It
don't
was the
remember.
Irish wonder, Chris Murphy. Yep.
Oh, that's it, Chris Murphy. I remember
Yeah, but
your
I don't
comment.
think we've seen him again in Ensaw since. He was on
No.
here a couple of times saying how much he wanted Supersonic Sammy Blue, and Supersonic Sammy Blue disposed of him rather shortly. And Supersonic Sammy Blue also, I saw him not too long ago in the ring for a couple of seconds or two with the natural born fighter RP Davis, a guy that, if you're thinking about guys who were some of the biggest names in the UK right now, currently in the scene, he's the guy. And I've known him since, I would say, COVID. I mean, that's a long time from
Mm.
now. So he was able to prove himself, no question. But you know, Chris Murphy is yesterday's news. You're today's news. So it tells me, based off Supersonic Sammy Blue's ability, and I've seen quite a bit of him, he is definitely a high flyer. He is definitely a guy that is very agile on his feet. But I think what you do in the ring and your abilities and your power and your kind of versatility shows that, you'll certainly be watching a lot of what he's done in the past and being able to combat that.
Absolutely. I mean, again, I know, Sammy, you've gone under the tutorship of Sean Only. That's great, but there's only so much the man can teach you. And again, unfortunately, you've never faced someone like me. And I know that your mind's not really in the right place right now, because I know at Blackheart you had to face your super best bud, the Warhog,
Yes, I saw that.
or
That I did see on
or the
social media. Yep.
yeah, or the Battle Pig, or the whatever.
I guess I lost count on what names he is these days, but that's certainly here nor there. I do have some more comments. Let me get to them before I get to a plug.
Let me
And
guess, it's Michael.
I got a couple different ones. Daniel Banner wants to say, Michael knows, with all due respect, as a friend, if you want to back up those words, go train in the ring and work for that opportunity instead of using words. Daniel Banner's trainer is actually Sean Only, so he would know. Kyle Kennedy said he had a title like that once. Yes, he did. And speaking of people here, MX Knights is here with us. You're going from strength to strength, Callam. You do us all proud. Rise the society. What do you want to say?
Well, I'll start with Carl Kennedy. Again, I know there's a lot of issues that's been going on. I miss you, and I do miss sharing the ring with you, and I do hope that obviously we can share the ring again together soon. And Knights, I think this is probably the first time in a while I've actually heard from you, because I haven't really spoken to anyone since everything's been kicking off. So yeah, I definitely hope I will. Well, Not that I hope I will. I obviously will. Just
Well, speaking of Knights, and
mm,
you said that you haven't heard from MX Knights in a while. I'm glad you said that because that's going to give me my plug for an announcement because MX Knights is going to be here on Sportswire Radio coming up this Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. British Standard Time. So if you're not doing anything, MX Knights will be here and he'll talk, I'm sure, live about the card of All Hallows Eve. He'll talk about the society. He'll most certainly talk about you. He's also working on some other projects I see out there that we'll certainly get into, and we'll have him here live on Sportswire Radio, or rather have MX Knights live here on Sportswire Radio. I apologize for that, but you can also follow Nonstop Action Wrestling on all of their platforms and also watch us here on Sportswire Radio, the link itself. You can actually do that because, like I said, MX Nights will be here 7:30 this Wednesday, literally just about 72 hours or so from All Hallows Eve. This will definitely be one you won't want to miss. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, the man behind Sportswire Radio. And again, if you like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, you can check us out and watch all of our previous shows, including most recent Nonstop Action Wrestling shows from the likes of Joshua Snow, the chairman of Nonstop Action Wrestling, Jenny Hayes, the rock idol of the UK, also Callam, Majeiskter, and MX Nights coming up here this Wednesday. You can also check us out. We have an internet radio station, which 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We play some of your favorite tunes. If you have a podcast out there that you're starting up or you like a show to be played, we can play it here free of charge. We handle all the maintenance, all the engineering, all the uploading. You can do it here on our link, which is temporary for now. We actually used to be on sportnarium.com/player, but I'm in the process of moving that over elsewhere. So in the meantime, that's our link. Check us out anytime. But we are here with the upgrade, Callam and Jake. One of the reasons, Callam, that I think that you might have some confidence here is the match that I don't think I've gotten a chance to speak with you with since you've last come on the show is your match with Gareth Angel. You were in there with the Beast of the Belly. You were in there with the guy everybody talks about, and you basically showed why you are the upgrade. And I mean, talk about that match, and maybe in a way that gives you the confidence, that gives you the ability to know if you can hang with him, Supersonic Sammy Blue, you should be able to handle this Saturday.
yeah. Well, Gareth Angel, wanted to, when he was talking about that
That was
match,
his
wanted to come
return.
about how he
His
wasn't.
return. Yep.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling well, and it was his return. He wasn't feeling fresh. Don't give me that crap. You had months away. I had wrestled the night before against Pride. Who hurts? Pride hurts when he gets.
I've seen him a lot actually.
Yeah, and so yeah, you were fresh. I wasn't. I was still hurt. I was still recovering. But I decided, because I was still booked for an open challenge, that I would still show up because, of course, it was my hometown. Because I don't get to wrestle in my hometown much anymore because of, certain reasons, falling out, all that sort of stuff. And I think what makes me laugh is, obviously, GTM, we haven't heard anything of the upgrade since. I mean, the last time before then was, again, because of yourself, where I wrestled Tommy Dillon for the World Class Championship.
Answered the open challenge, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But again, really bad headset, mindset, your emotions, mental health, all that stuff. And so, obviously, Easter weekend, I was sore. I hadn't fully recovered. Angel saying he'd been ill and it was his return. And so the question I have is, at what point does Gareth Angel become 100% again? Because I feel pretty good. I feel 100%. And yet, we're not hearing much from Gareth Angel because he's too busy hanging out with comedians.
Well, I have seen that. Now that's a fair point. Now, he has come back to GTM, and we've seen GTM take their show on the road, but certainly when we had on Mr. Angel a couple of months ago, we were supposed to see him in the ring square off with Disciple, but we didn't get a chance to see that match because Disciple is obviously earlier this summer, as we all know, went exit stage left, and obviously we wish the former Enso and GTM champion well, and certainly We saw him wrestling in Bolton Town as well. And, maybe there is some unfinished business there with Gareth Angel and yourself. Certainly, we've seen him wrestle the likes of Jimmy Jackson. We've also seen him tag team with Maverick Matt Williams out there, who was our most recent guest here on Sportswire when I was still sick and such. But, there is maybe, he might, I think that would be something where I'd like to see you and him wrestle again. This time in the Fountains Church in Bradford, maybe.
Well, all I'm saying is when he wants to stop trying to take all the glory from BBC and when he actually wants to be a man, I'll be waiting.
Interesting. All right, so you know what? I've got a couple of comments here. Deadpool would like to say, surprising the amount of wrestlers that start off as tag champs and that propels them into singles championships. Well, I guess, yeah, you could say that. Certainly, obviously, Bret Hart's one of the famous ones that goes from a tag team champion to a world champion. Shawn Michaels was in a tag team, certainly. If you want to go and look at the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, the Hardys, they certainly held tag gold, APA. It's a long list of tag teams. I'm sure we could, come up with a book report worth of tag teams in wrestling history that were, tag team champions or in a prominent team and held singles gold. But you know what? If you get there, you get there. And the lawman Kyle Kennedy would also like to say that he misses you too, and we'll come together once again. He's positive about that. Callam, 2 titles, has a ring to it. It certainly does sound good. I'd come to show support in person, but obviously there's an issue there, and I'll leave that at that. I'll certainly shy away from that just because I don't know the details. I'm not privy to it, and it's not my place to kind of get in the middle of that, but I wish everybody would resolve whatever the situation might be. And I think one of the reasons I think you actually might have a shot here in winning this title and be Callam 2 titles is you got an entrance music that basically is going to set the tables for us and give us some adrenaline. So maybe talk about, since I got a chance actually listen to your entrance music not too long ago to kind of get me in the zone since we have last had you back. Maybe that's what kind of is going to put you in the mode you're going to be in, and talk about how you were able to pick out your music and such.
Well, that was music we'd had picked out for a good few months actually. Before everything had kicked off, it was actually MX Nights that.
Oh wow!
Maybe
I'll bring it up with him on Wednesday.
Yeah, it was actually them that had suggested it, and I liked how it sounded. And turns out MX Nights actually had one of the artists from it on Facebook.
Oh wow!
So drop a little message just so we don't get done for copyright. And yeah, now I have probably, I'd say, the second best entrance music of all time in NSAW, second to the Society's music.
Good point. Well, that was a good pitch, and like I said, I definitely will talk about that with MX Nights on Wednesday.
It's also following the Society's music of the whistle.
Yes.
The death whistle, setting the mood of I'm going to kill you. And there is nothing you can do about it. And then it talks about the upgrade.
I did hear that quite a bit, the lyrics of the upgrade, which we realized was why I thought I wanted to bring it up, because I feel like it personifies what you intend to do, and maybe even what you intend to do in this match, because a lot of times music does set the mood, it sets the course, and you have a song that's going to put you in that mind frame to go out there and do what you want to do here at All Hallows Eve. And I think that's why, you have certainly a very, very strong possibility of winning that Northern Division title. And Michael,
just say I'm going to win. Just say you want me to win. That's all
I've always liked
Sammy Blue can cry in a corner.
Well, listen, I've always liked you, and Sammy's come on here a bunch of times also. I feel like I would like to see a great match. We'll certainly see. I have no doubt that we'll certainly talk about it on Sportswire very soon. But let me get to Michael North, because I don't want to get in the middle of the crossfire. Love how you say when Gareth wants to be a man, yet you attacked pride from behind. Some man.
Oh, my God.
You're one to say that when you attacked him from behind, that's no man, that's a coward.
Oh, my God. You are so pressed about the match that happened almost a year ago. You're so upset about a match that happened back in December. let it go. Buddy, there are other matches I've had. There are other people I've beaten the ever loving crap out of. You don't need to hold on to that. And if you really want to go into it, I faced Pride again the day before I fought Gareth
I
Angel.
remember.
No
I
attacking,
remember.
yeah, no attacking from behind, man to man, straight up. We put his differences to the side. I still beat him. Stop crying over it, for God's sake. You're like a you're like an ex-girlfriend who keeps making TikToks. Like, just let it go. It's done.
Well, I'm glad that's not me, man. I'm certainly glad that that won't be my problem. I've got a lot of problems these days, but that one I know is not. But, for the remaining time of the show, for the last 20 or so minutes, I actually wanted to ask you this question. It's funny because it's been over a year since I had you for the first time, but now the year is almost over in a way. Today is October 16th. I feel like it was yesterday I had you on after you won the tag team titles. But I've been asking this question to wrestlers recently as we get toward the end of the year. But what are your goals for the rest of the year left?
It's a good question. Well, I guess a new goal is probably to shut Michael up because Michael just keeps whining and crying. And when you start to get a little bit of earache, all you can do is get rid of what's causing it. And at the moment, that's Michael. So, yeah, I guess there's a revolution right there. If there's one thing I'm going to guarantee, though, to everyone, is as Lawman said, Callam 2 titles does have a good ring to it, and Callam 2 titles will have a good ring to it, because I will be leaving All Hallows Eve a double champion. I will be entering the next year as a champion. Now, whether that just be in NSAW, whether that be in other promotions as well, who knows? But it all depends on if these other promotions realize that they need to be upgraded.
Well, I've always said this, and I've had you on, I think, 3 or 4 different times in the past. You have always been a guy that I definitely think that should be in multiple places. And we'll certainly see if, especially our friends in GTM, bring you back. And certainly we'll be talking GT Ministries next month because they have a huge show upcoming in the middle of the month. And I will definitely talk about that. I was curious real quick what your thoughts were on, speaking of, should you win the match and be a double champion. Apparently November the 18th, it looks like Enso has taken the show on the road because there is a collaboration you guys have with Firestar Championship Wrestling coming up at the Pocket
Yeah.
Sports Bar in Mexboro, and talk about, what that means to you and maybe just the rest of the company.
Well, I can't be there.
Okay.
So we had announced it would be myself and Remus defending against West Danger and Young Horace. By the way, Horace, congrats, mate.
He's got 2 titles now as well. I saw that.
I know people wouldn't expect me to congratulate him, but
And speaking of that, he's tuned in
fair
and
enough.
says you're backing out of their match.
Not backing out. It's called respecting my loving partner and treating her the way I should be. I don't have to fight you guys. I mean, I've defended my titles enough times. I've been to enough shows. I don't need to be there. Hell, we're under the Horseman rule. Is it a Horseman? No, Freebird rule. We're under the Freebird rule. It literally could be anyone. Could be MX Knights. Jenny Hayes could decide to come back for a single match. Not that I'd recommend it. Remus might do it on his own. Who knows?
I mean, listen, I can ask MX Knights that question Wednesday night on the show and see what MX Knights has to say. I'll certainly bring it up. And young Horace would also like to point out, just relinquish the belt to myself and West. We scare you that much. Okay,
so clearly no one remembers what I did to West at the OSW show in Hare Hills, where I hit him and he literally collapsed to the floor. Let's point out, I chopped West Danger so hard he collapsed, not fell, not took a few steps and then bumped, collapsed. He doesn't scare me because he's an easy target. And Horace, of all people, surely you would want to rest up to make sure you can defend your championships. You've got 2 championships now, mate.
I saw
Surely
that.
you would want to be, surely you would want to
Come
be
a long
rested up.
way. Listen, we talked about him last summer, and he obviously would wrestle each week, and he would come up short, and here he is now, and he's certainly moved up. And I have a few more comments for Michael, but I want to ask you something.
Oh, God.
But I actually want to bring up something else that I'm sure you're aware of, which you actually might want to talk about, is that there was a vote last month on the wrestler in Nonstop Action Wrestling at All Hallows Eve you were most excited to see. And you actually won that vote. And you even won that vote not only over your opponent, Supersonic Sammy Blue, but also our current world-class champion, J. Rowe Lewis. And I was curious on what did that mean to you on a personal note that you actually won the vote of the wrestler that Nonstop Action Wrestling's fans most want to see?
You have no idea how much I laughed when I saw that.
Okay, tell me why.
Honestly, why? Because I was ahead of J. Rowe Lewis, who, has just become the world class champion.
Yep.
Again, because Disciple had relinquished it. More than Supersonic Sammy Blue, who is supposed to be the crowd favourite, who everyone is supposed to love, and yet clearly not everyone loves him. And then there was Dante Okara, which, that wasn't going to be.
Yeah, that's
Wasn't going to be much competition.
Topic for a different time. Yes, I certainly know who he is very well.
He's another one I want to give a quick message to, because all I've seen is promo after promo after promo, and God, does it get annoying. But instead of working out and preparing yourself for this match against Matt Royale, you're just making videos. I'll tell you from experience. I'll tell you from a man who's wrestled him multiple times, from a man who trained with him alongside him.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about that in the past.
Yeah.
You guys and him have, some history. You and him.
Do not take him lightly, because he will beat the crap out of you. And that's not a threat. That's a promise. It's very rare I'll actually back up Matt Royale.
Very over the past year. I mean, this might be the only time you back up Matt Royale. This might be so I might have to go back to the tape and almost keep that one in the archive. So I could certainly see that.
Burn it. Burn it.
So well, I don't know if I can burn it. It'll just basically expire. But let me get to a few more quick comments on Michael, then bring up a few other new people. Sammy will beat your ass back to whatever grave you crawled out of. And then Horace, I think we spoke about that already. Michael says that he learned he's a chicken and will know the secret truth. Owen Carter, speaking of people you sort of mentioned recently, and somebody that I know is obviously we would probably bring back on Sportswire also before the year is out. Definitely somebody that's in the plans here. But it's no secret myself and Phantom aren't the society's biggest fans. But if anyone has what it takes to beat Sammy, it's Callam. Plus, if those titles get too heavy, I'm happy to take your tag belt. And obviously, he's got some personal also. Well, we'll see. Obviously, we will definitely hear from him on Sportswire, I'm sure, in the near and distant future. Just because I hold 2 championships doesn't mean I'm taking the easy road now. Just as I do, that the hard work starts now. Well, you know what? If there's anybody that had to work as hard as they did, you had also. But young Horace, literally, I mean, he was on a streak that, a lot. If you would have said today on October 16th that young Horace would have 2 titles, you'd probably say no way.
Well, that's great and all, but again, the proof's in the pudding, really, isn't it? So we'll see what happens when you lose those championships in maybe a month or 2, and I'm holding this championship for, nearly a year, and I'll be holding the Northern Division Championship as well. So, again, we'll see, won't we?
We will certainly see, and you can certainly see on Nonstop Action Wrestling's pages, especially Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, where you can find out more information and watch the show itself, especially on Instagram at NSAW Wrestling UK. And Horace says, if he remembers still correctly, he is still owed a championship match in NSAW. That's
Are
certain.
you?
I don't know. Stay.
Are you? I don't remember the last time I saw young Horace in SW, so I don't know.
Well, I guess that'll be something that we'll have to find out for one way or another. But, as we're coming up here to the remaining minutes on the show, I wanted to actually give you the opportunity to say any final words to Supersonic Sammy Blue before All Hallows Eve.
Sammy, you are a fan favourite. You are a history maker in your own right, and I can respect you for that. The issue we've got is I don't care about making history for a company. I don't care about making history for a championship. I care about doing what I want, when I want, to whoever I want. I don't want you to take me lightly. I don't want you to think that you're just going to brush past me like you did with the rest of the society, or that I'm going to be, anything like them. As I've explained, they had their styles. I've got my style. If you want to research me, go ahead. Research me as much as you want. But just know that I am not doing anything that I've already done. Whereas you will do the same thing over and over again. Prepare yourself and be ready, because when I take that championship away from you, as Michael said, of me with the society, at least I'll have friends to celebrate with me. Yours isn't there anymore, so you'll be crying on your own.
There certainly very well could be the possibility of no joy in Mudville for Michael Knowles. But I want to ask you this last question. And is this the biggest match of your career this coming Saturday, All Hallows Eve?
It could be. Again, as we said, it's big for me to compete for a singles championship. The first time I've competed for a singles championship in over a year, I believe, something like that. Yeah, actually, over a year it's been.
But I feel this is different, though. I just feel that this is different this time. Almost like the stars are aligning for you to be able to be Callam 2 titles. I just think that there's something different in the air. You can always tell sometimes before something, literally a few eves before All Hallows Eve. And I kind of feel like this is different. And that's why I asked, is this the biggest match of your career?
Yeah, I think it might be. I have to admit it, but Sammy is a skilled guy, and a dream match, as you've said.
It is.
The upgrade versus the Supersonic. Yeah, maybe it is the biggest match of my career. Might be the biggest match of my career so far, however. So let's not get too excited.
Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, I think that, listen, the future is definitely looking bright regardless. And I think that basically the main theme is that this is a dream match. And if you think about nonstop action wrestling, and if you're a fan of Ensa over the past year, these have really been the two guys I think that have stood out most. Supersonic Sammy Blue has been in multiple promotions. He's wrestled the likes of Martin Kirby. He's been in a ring with RPD, Sean Only. Look at what Callam Majeiskter has done. Obviously, to the likes of Pride, Connor Cage, also winning his first tag team championship. Gareth Angel nearly beating him in his hometown, and certainly deserves a rematch with that, and very well could be Callam 2 titles. And that's why you want to support nonstop action wrestling and check out the show itself, and plus much more related to nonstop action wrestling. We are always nonstop, never stop. And again, as a reminder for those that are listening and watching here or will watch this later on, we will have MX Nights live here with us at about 7:30 p.m. British Standard Time to talk all things related to what Callam has said tonight, but also the entire card of All Hallows Eve and some. It has been a tremendous honor, champ. I look forward to watching the match, but now I want to give you the floor, give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say, and I turn it over to you. You know the drill, and fire away.
Well, for everyone that's saying that that's making posts about me saying I'm yet to make my debut or I'm yet to make my return, just do it. My calendar's opened up. Stop being scared of having your promotion upgraded. And for future promotions, whether you book myself and Remus together or whether you just book me as myself, we are not interested unless there is gold on the line. Give us that opportunity for gold, we'll be there. And Michael, please let go of the fact that I beat Pride in December. I know it hurts your feelings, but please let it go. Watch a Roman Reigns match if it makes you feel any better. Okay? Bye, darling. Go cry.
Well, we'll leave that aside, but I would like people to follow the upgrade Callam Majeiskter, Callam_Majeiskter. And if you want a shirt like Callam's, you go on his Instagram page, DM him, and you can buy your very own Callam Majeiskter shirt, the upgrade. You definitely support him and support everything he's doing. Look at that shirt, ladies and gentlemen. That is certainly a prize possession, anybody's wardrobe. That's why you're going to want to support this man and do everything you can to watch him coming up this weekend at All Hallows Eve. And Michael would like to say he would rather watch Roman, even though he hates him as well. Well, I guess
No.
certainly knew something that I think maybe Michael definitely kind of admitted to. And again, you can follow Nonstop Action Wrestling. I cannot stress this enough here on all their platforms. NSAW Wrestling UK, NSAW Rest _ at UK. YouTube, _Stop Action Wrestling 7944. Facebook at Nonstop Action Wrestling, and Instagram, NSAW Wrestling UK. Twitter, NSAW Rest _ UK. YouTube, Stop Action Wrestling 7944. Facebook, Nonstop Action Wrestling. Champ, I wish you a lot of luck this Saturday. I have a very good feeling, though, that you're going to do a great job in the ring. I'm looking forward to watching the match. I'm looking forward to having you back on before the end of the year to talk about it. And certainly Callam 2 titles could have a nice ring to it. And who knows? Maybe you win this match. You're at Callam 2 titles. You might get inducted into a little thing called a Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So maybe there's something
Oh,
there.
baby.
Being a Hall of Famer and a double champion, I'm just saying, stay tuned
Oh,
here. And Daniel Banner's last comment, society like the Judgment Day will run NSAW. Well, I mean, they've been doing that already. So we'll have to see. But I look forward to watching the match. Thank you for coming on. And I look forward to having you on also, again, one more time before the end of the year.
I'll see you later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the upgrade. Callam Majeiskter, just eves before his match for the Nonstop Action Wrestling Northern Division Championship against Supersonic Sammy Lou. It's an amazing card. You can check out more information on the links below. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, the host of Sportswire Radio, the owner of Sportswire Radio, and also your voice of all wrestling here. And if you're on our Sportswire Radio internet radio station, thank you for tuning in. You'll go back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're on YouTube and Twitter, Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. British Standard Time with MX Nights. He'll be talking about Callam, the society, and who knows what else. But until then, thank you, everybody, here for tuning in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.